Is it working? Okay, yes, it's working. Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Restarting everything. So Amanda is our team call speaker tonight, and I'm so freaking excited. I'm gonna lift up my glasses because I hate that you like can't see my eyes. But I'm so excited because we met just like a little bit ago, it feels like, but maybe it's been a long time now. And she's a boss. She's awesome, and she's been in this business for so long that it just like blows my mind that she's been living like this lifestyle of freedom. And she's like retired herself from so many jobs, and it's just totally sustainable, right? Like it's something that we can do for the long term, and it like brings her so much joy. And she's gone through so many good seasons and so many hard seasons, and I know like we met kind of at the tail end of like a harder season, and it just goes to show that like no matter what happens in your life, like in your business, like people quitting on you, you failing yourself, or other people failing you, like you can totally keep going and get up where you left off. And so yeah, I think she's just so inspiring. So just a few fun facts about her and her business. She is a lifetime 2-star diamond, which is huge because at 2-star, that's where you can open up that second CBC, right? I know like I talked to a lot of you guys about that. And I just opened up mine for the first time last spring. And that's like really where the income opportunity is there. So like, even though her rank is 2-star, she's in the 6-figure club. Like she has earned that much money, and that like blows my mind. Like we haven't gotten there yet, but we're on our way. So just so crazy. Like it really, it doesn't always depend on your rank, right? Like sometimes you can strategically place people and you can still hit massive success and earn a sustainable income. So really, really awesome. She's been full-time since 2015, freaking crazy. She's on the Nashville Market Council. So like she helps plan and host a lot of like the Nashville events, like Super Weekend. And we have Carl Deichler coming to our next event, which I'm so pumped for. So if anybody is near Nashville, Kelsey, you want to make the drive down. And she's also a team leader on the Roadmap to Elite, which I know I did a call on like a few weeks ago. So you guys should be familiar with that. Anyways, I'm going to hand it over to Amanda now. And yeah, just you can introduce yourself, whatever.
Awesome. Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. I apologize for any like sips of water breaks I need to take. My feeling a little sick. But I'm showing up to my business and showing up for you guys. So thank you for being here. Like Leanna was saying about how like it's not always just about rank. A lot of the times this business with income is about your volume and helping people be successful, helping your coaches duplicate and building duplication in your team. And I know that's not what this call is about, but I mean, I'm one of those rare people who maxed out my emerald, and like I've always been volume driven. And while I do push for elite, I can't work other people's businesses for them. I do my best, but I control the controllable. And that's where I'm at right now. I definitely have goals for 5-star elite, even by summit. So we're like really close. But I'm excited for the team that we're bringing on this year and last year, and like the vibe that we're creating after like years of trying to figure this out. And like it's not about being perfect or even having a perfect social media, even though that's what I'm going to talk about today. Not perfect, but I'm going to talk about my top tips on social media. But it's about like finding your way through this business, because in all reality, like, are any of us going to ever do the work that it takes on our personal growth and on ourselves to build this business if we didn't have this business? Like all the work that we put in to like figuring out who we are and like breaking through barriers and crushing limiting beliefs, like would we do that work on ourselves if this business and community wasn't helping us do that and motivating us to do that? I know for me, absolutely not. And like that alone, that process alone of even just trying to figure this business out was like such a blessing in my life. And so when I started Beachbody, I was a full-time waitress and a full-time student. And I was going to school and I was in undergrad for exercise science and health promotion. And my ultimate goal was to be a doctor in physical therapy. I wanted to be like in comfy clothes and, help people physically, because I'm a physical person. I love anatomy and like the body, and fitness changed my life. So it's amazing to me that I was on my own fitness journey for like 6 years and I had never heard of Beachbody coaching. So it might be a little bit more like available to people now with like social media the way it is, because it wasn't like that back in 2013. Like I think Instagram just opened like 2012 or 2011 maybe. So, it was all just starting out, super fresh. We were all still using Instagram filters, and we know that's a big no-no. But that's what we were doing back then. And we were just like figuring it out. But anyway, I saw the opportunity through my coach, and I was like, I don't care if it takes me like 10 years to build this business. What other opportunity am I going to have where I can work for myself, where I can literally have freedom to do whatever I want, love my job, work from my phone? Like that doesn't exist. Plus the reward that we get, and we don't have to create our own programs and spend a lot of time doing that and like building a business from the ground up. Like we do build our own business from the ground up. However, we have an amazing like platform to start on, like we're like hella elevated, and we're not just like trying to pull from scraps and ideas to put it together. And like, while it's fun, I loved creating programs for people and like designing things with, equipment in the gym, and try to put fun workouts together. But like at the end of the day, my passion wasn't that. My passion was my own freedom and like helping people. So like if I could help more people with this opportunity, like I'm not wasting all my personal energy trying to create programs individually for everyone. Like I can do this on a much grander scale, which I think a platform of this business is so amazing. But anyway, I did want to say, like, I was somebody who didn't hit Success Club all the time. And I just want to say that really quick, because I feel like it's a unique part of my story. And we do hear that people are like 80 months in Success Club, 100 months in Success Club. And you're like, wow, that's so inspiring. That's amazing. But like, here's what I want to say about that. I missed Success Club a few times, but I still built a successful business because I was in Success Club building activity. I was at maybe 4 or 2, or maybe I had a couple months that I was at 0, like only a couple. But I was still doing the activity. I was still posting. I was still trying. I was still learning and growing. I wasn't just like, oh, who cares? I would do giveaways. I would do everything in my power to try to hit Success Club. So just know, like, as long as you're in Success Club building activity, you are building your business. And I see far too many people say, oh, I don't hit Success Club, so I suck at this business, I'm going to quit. Like, why give up? Why not just keep trying to figure this out? Because the opportunity that we have is absolutely amazing. So that being said, I'm going to share my screen, and I have a little training put together for you guys. Let's see. Can you guys see this? Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's get into this. So I wanted to share my top tips on social media. I didn't know how to use it before, and this is all from what I've learned through building this business for over 6 years now, and what I have found to work the best. So I think, you hear a lot about like finding your brand and your avatar, and while I think there's parts of that that are important, I think these things are more important. So a lot of times we're like looking at what other coaches are doing, maybe our coach, maybe any of the top 10 coaches, or everybody who's like speaking on the National Wake Up Call or in the Beachbody Champions page. And we're like, wow, they're obviously successful. What are they doing? So I can copy them, right? And here's the thing, like, they're successful not because they decided to copy another top 10 coach. They're successful because they found their own voice. Like I think of Ashley Molstad and how like blown up her business got and her social media, and it's because she wasn't looking at what everyone else was doing. She found her voice and she was using it loud and proud. So I think it's really important to like put your blinders on, sit down and figure out like what your message is. What are you here to talk about? What is your value as a coach, separate from everyone else? Like think about if you were just starting your business and you didn't have all this network to look to for advice and support, what would you do? What would you talk about? What would you say? So I want you guys to, as like a homework assignment, to make a list, like pull out your paper, clean your desk, like get organized and clear so you can get clear on what you want to say. So think about like why you're a coach in the first place. Like what drew you to the business? Why did you decide to start something like this? And it might seem like obvious, but if you're not really clear on why that is, your message is going to feel a little watered down, because if you're looking at what other coaches are doing, you're already watering down yourself. So I would stop. Like, I don't know if this is anyone here, but I know it was me in the beginning, because I'm like a learn as I do and like monkey see, monkey do. Like, oh, she did this, let me implement it, you know? I'm like, I didn't ever ask questions, or I didn't necessarily know my own self. So I couldn't really pull from my own inspiration at the time. So I really pulled from a lot of other people. And I feel like that it served a purpose for a minute while I was trying to figure out what I liked, what I didn't like of myself and who I really am as I was growing. But it watered me down, because if you find yourself like, what am I going to post today? And you go to look at someone else's profile and you're like, what did they post today? And you look at other coaches to get inspiration, you're watering yourself down humongously and you're not speaking your voice. So really get clear on why you're a coach and your own story, okay? No matter what, like I used to think my story wasn't good enough because it wasn't. My coach is Amy Silverman and she's freaking boss, right? Now she's one of my best friends, but in the beginning, it was like, wow, she's so cool, you know? And I used to think my story wasn't good enough because it wasn't as cool as hers, you know? Like it was just weird, you know? But thank God I grew up, but you guys can learn from my missteps in my journey. But you know, what was I gonna say? Like, it doesn't matter what you think your story is, it's your story. So don't compare it to anyone else's. It's your truth, and you want to speak that truth, because otherwise it's going to feel weird for you and everyone else. So why did you start a business? Why did you say, I want to be a business owner? I want to be in charge of my income. Like why did you do that? Okay. So for me, I started a business, which I never thought I would do. You know, like people were in college for entrepreneurship, which I think is really funny. Cause like what? And I didn't know what that meant. Like I remember this one kid in one of my classes, he was like, yeah, I'm, going to be an entrepreneur. And I'm like, okay, like I didn't even know what that was. So I didn't have this whole like business plan. I'm not like a business minded type of person, but I am a person who wants to serve people, and I want to be in control of my life. Maybe I'm a control freak, who knows? But I want to say when and where I can do what I want to do with who I want to do it, and nobody to tell me I can't see my kids, how long I'm going to be on maternity leave, like when I can travel, if I can travel, where, what, who, I wanted to be in control of that. And I loved the Beachbody mission and like our programs and everything that we have. I'm just like obsessed with this business. And so I was like, dude, this is like so awesome, like everyone needs to do this. So, I mean, I kind of like fell into it, but I started because I wanted freedom, So think about why you wanted to start a business. And remember that you're not just a Beachbody coach. And that's not all people want to hear about. Like, you have so much more to offer. Like, what were you doing before coaching? Like, who are you outside of being a Beachbody coach. And that's kind of the beauty of what we do, is that we get to make this whatever we want. And the more we like diversify and set ourselves apart from the rest, the more weird we are and quirky we are, like the more we set ourselves apart and the more successful we are. I mean, I think about Haley Christian all the time, because she's a weirdo introvert like me. And I never wanted to show people who I was before, because I was like, that's not cool. You know, like, who wants to be a little weirdo? Nobody wants to hang out with a weirdo. And I was like, I have like a weird sense of humor, and I'm kind of like, I do a lot of baby talk. Like, I don't know why, but it's just part of who I am. And so now on my stories, I just like talk the way I talk in real life, and I stopped caring about what people think, because that people will, if somebody hangs out with me in real life, I want them to hear me talk the same way I talk on social media, okay? And so I'm just like, you want to be who you are in social media as you are in real life. So I want you to think about what kind of things you have to add, like value-wise, on your social media. Like maybe you're really good at like smoothie bowls. I mean, I don't know, just like anything. If you're really good at reading ingredients and like percentages of like carbs to protein and like what's the best thing, or whatever, like anything you can add value about, like gardening or organization or fashion or hair or makeup or kids, like making kids stuff, or I don't really know, but you know what I'm saying? Like anything that you like to do or are good at and you can give tips on, share that, okay? Because people are going to connect to you, like not just because you're a Beachbody coach, they're going to connect to you for the other things. Like if I see somebody who's like just, I don't know if this makes sense, but like just a Beachbody coach, like, do you guys know what I'm saying? Like if it's like every single post is like Beachbody, 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 I'm like, I don't even, like, I'm not attracted to that. And I'm attracted to like coaches who have a diversity of things to share and who are standing in their like power of who they are as a person. And like, I love moms and stuff, but if it's like only about kid stuff or mom stuff, like I don't relate. So I'm like, I won't follow, if that makes sense, because I won't connect if it's only one thing. So you want to think about other things that you offer that you can add value and share tips on, and tell stories. Like when you guys are thinking about like basing off this list, like why you're a coach, why you started a business, those are like things that you can make posts out of and you can tell stories about, because people connect to stories, not just like what Beachbody has done for you. You know what I mean? Like I remember the day when I was called into work and I had a day date planned with my husband, but I had to cancel because I had to go into work because I had to say yes to extra money. You know, like something like that would be an example of telling a story and like showing the feelings behind it, not just being like, I used to have to do this, now I'm not. Like just really telling the story. So, and on your Instagram stories and stuff, like don't just always be selling and always be talking about the products or always be only showing your workouts. Because that's just sell. Like I won't follow that. So I'm sure other people won't. And I'm more attracted to like Beachbody stuff and like, you know, things that people are doing. But like if even with my own coaches, if they're just like always talking about their challenge or like posting slides of their challenge or whatever, like I'm going to skip through it, you know? So you want to give more value and not hide behind the product, which I know can be a little scary to like own who you are and put yourself out there for real. But like just do it. It's way more fun than like only talking about Beachbody, I think. Okay. So I wanted to throw in a little bit of a photo tip here, because these are just really, really, really simple things that I think could have massive change on your Instagram game. So number one is use natural light. 99.99% of the time, I'm not taking a photo if it's not daytime. So like, even if I'm posting at 8 p.m. at night, you better believe I'm using a photo I took like earlier in the day with the windows open and natural light in the house, or outside or something, just because this middle photo here is in front of a window. And it makes such a huge difference if I had the window behind me, or like if all the blinds were closed and no lights were on, or like, you know, so you want to like find the light on your face and then take the selfie. And so there's that. Number one tip, always, 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 is to clean your lens before you take a photo. So if I'm taking a photo for a stranger, I'm even cleaning their lens. I'm like, okay, in case you didn't know, you gotta clean your lens. So this photo here on the left is the same, 3 seconds apart, no filter. I was at a UPW event, Tony Robbins, and I was like, Derek, my husband, I was like, take a picture of me. And so he took it, and I was like, did you clean the lens? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, you didn't. So I cleaned it, and then I showed him the side by side. He was like, oh. But there's no filter or anything. It's just like dirty lens versus clean lens. So always, even if you just did it, like let's say you just clean your lens and you're like, cool, I'm gonna take a picture, and then you like put your phone down and you're like, oh, and you forget, and then you pick it up again, clean it just in case. And then get creative with like different angles and stuff. So a lot of bloggers use poses like this in the car, and I was like, I have a new car, I want to take a picture like that. So that was fun, but like try different ways to take photos. I'm sure you guys know this by now, but like it's never the first photo that's the winner that goes up on your feed. Like, you know, it usually takes like at least 5 selfies to get the one, you know, like just, and that's just the rule of thumb in photography in general. Like photographers take thousands and thousands of photos just to get like a handful, just to get like 100. Let's say you're doing a wedding shoot or whatever. They're like filling up cards and picking just like a few, because that's just the way it works. You need to take multiples to find the right one. So have fun with your photos. You don't have to only do like sweaty selfies. There's so many different ways you can get creative. So look and learn from other bloggers. And I would expand beyond Beachbody coaches, because again, you want to set yourself apart and find different ways to be creative outside of what people are seeing in Beachbody. That's how you set yourself apart. That's how like the network recognizes you and they're like, oh, this is that person's style, right? Because it's different than everyone else's. Like if you see a post from Amy, for example, and I'm just going to use her because she's a social media queen, but also really good and has a very specific type of photo that she posts, you know? And you can tell like what's her style. So anyway, and I can tell that with like Raina and Ashley Molsad. I don't know, just like certain people, you can tell that's their style because they do it differently than most people do. And then I would use the same filter across the board, just so your feed has a flow that makes sense. There's tons of things out there. There's Visco, there's Lightroom. I personally have been using a thing called Tezza, an app. It's Tezza, and I've been really digging that lately. So yeah, just keeping it simple with that, because these couple of things will like change your social media game. Okay, so back to the list and creating content. So you want to, as part of your homework, make a list of all the ways Beachbody's changed your life, because this is, again, going to go with like storytelling and giving you ideas, and just do like a brain dump and be like, I don't know, when I do this, I'm like, oh, I think of something specific, like a specific story comes up when I'm just like brain dumping ideas. So just totally brain dump all the ways Beachbody's changed your life. Make a list of things that you're good at and can give tips on. Always be taking photos. So 90% of the time, the photos I post are not from today. Well, maybe 70% of the time. I do have more time lately to take photos than I used to when I was a newer coach. Something I did when I was a newer coach and was still working full time is I would do like Hike Tuesdays, was like a thing I was branding on my social media back then. And it was a day off of work. It was my off day. And so I would make it a thing on social media. I'm like, oh, it's Hike Tuesday. And I would even invite local people to come hang out with me and hike with me. And now one of the girls I met like in 2014 is a coach on my team. And she just joined last year. Okay. And we met in real life in 2014. And I was talking to her about PIO. And she just joined last year. And guess what program she did? PIO. And so if you don't stick it out, the people that you've been planting seeds with and watering are going to sprout later on, and you won't be here to sow the seed, to sow the tree. So make sure you guys are here for the sprouts, for the seeds to sprout. So anyway, I would go out and I would take a ton of photos in nature, because outside of that, I was either working out in my dark ass house and I was working. I had nothing else to talk about aside from work and how one day I was going to be a full-time coach, and what I was working for. And like my posts were really bad back then, but I was trying, and that's how I got better. But anyway, I would take stock photos, not stock photos. I would take like bulk amounts of photos is what I'm trying to say. And that's what I would use throughout the week for like outside of a fitness post or like, you know, something like that, or a meal plan post or whatever I was posting back then. That would be like my lifestyle post that I took like the week before, you know, but I had like a large amount of photos to choose from. And what else? Make a list of things that you're good at. I already said that. Start a running list for stories and post ideas. So like when you're doing these brain dumps, or when things come up in your life or in your day, or you overhear a conversation from someone and you get that like idea spark, don't hope that you're going to remember it later, because chances are it's going to delete from your brain and like completely delete from the hard drive and be gone forever. That happens to me all the time. So I make a running list. I have a notes like thing on my phone for post ideas. And then if I'm ever like, what am I going to post or talk about today? I go through that and I already have ideas of things to talk about. Be vulnerable, real, and relatable. You don't have to show face on social media and try to like be this coach, this perfect coach person. People want to work with real people. I shared my workout video yesterday, even in my challenge group, and somebody was like, I love how at the end you threw your band and like wiped your forehead. It shows how like hard it actually was and that you struggled too and are still showing up. It's so inspiring. Like, you know, just being real and being who you really are. You don't have to show face and put on a mask like we have to do with every other freaking job. We have to pretend. With this, we don't have to pretend. But I will say, you don't, that's not like a pass to like reveal all your dirty laundry and like, you know, all over social media. Like be strategic, but like be real. And but also be focused on like value giving. So if you're going through the shit right now, you don't have to say what the shit is. You could just say, I'm going through the shit, but I'm showing up anyway, or whatever to that degree. You know what I mean? Build relationships, stay consistent. Those things will build trust with your market, with your network. Like talking to people about other things than just joining your challenge group, you know, like building actual relationships, connecting with people who connect with you, watching their stories, commenting, just like, you know, your time spent on social media shouldn't be scrolling. If you find yourself on your news feed, or like whatever, it's not is it a news feed on Instagram? I don't even know. But you guys know what I'm saying. I don't know what they call that. But like scrolling on Instagram, make sure if ever I'm like scrolling, I'm going through, it's either somebody from my team, a friend of mine, which most of my friends are Beachbody coaches, potential customers, potential coaches, actual customers, and that's it. And if I find somebody on there that I don't vibe with or that I'm like building a relationship with, I unfollow them. So that's like a good opportunity as you're scrolling your feed to go through like and kind of either add value, add a like, comment. These are people who are active on their social media, so you want to be talking to them. You want to work with people who are active on their Instagram, not somebody who's like completely MIA and hasn't touched their Instagram since 2017. Like you don't want to send them a DM, you know, you just like, so you want to interact with people who are using the platform because they already know how to do this. And if you like, while you're going through there, showing people love, make sure like Instagram kind of like rewards you for being social on social media. So you want to be using that and building that muscle instead of just scrolling. And then use that also as like an auditing system to like take people out who you're not vibing with and who you don't want to be connecting with. So another thing that's really helpful is to create a content calendar. This is what I do. So it's nothing like earth shattering or anything, but I use my passion planner. Let's see. And I'll go through my month. You can't see that, so I'll just tell you. And I'll just say like Saturdays I'm posting about wellness. Fridays I'm going to battle an objection in a story form. So like if someone has a time objection, I can talk about that in my own story, you know, and do a different one each week. Thursday, coach story. Wednesday, connect. So another story, because you always want to be connecting and like building that connective tissue. That's what this is all about. Educate. So that's on Tuesdays. I'll do something to educate. Monday, motivation. Sunday, transformation post. And you guys, doing a weekly transformation post is everything. So like if you're not doing that, that's something you can change right now and start this week if you want to choose Sunday, whatever day of the week. I did mine this week yesterday just because my life has been completely bonkers. Nashville got hit with a tornado and I'm just like trying to survive. But you know, and it's okay if it's not perfect, but at least you have like somewhat of a game plan, and you want to be flexible in your approach and not like stress yourself out about it. But it's just something that you can have like, so you're kind of on a plan. Okay, so I already said this, but connect with everyone that connects with you. Find your tribe. So the way I do that is I'll look, and it depends. Like Nashville's a really cool city. There's tons of action going on. There's tons of people moving here. Like 100 people a day is the statistic, which will probably go down after the tornado. People will be like, "Oh my God, you guys have tornadoes! I'm not moving there." But you know, I look through personal trainers in the area, gyms, like meal prep services, wellness cafes, or restaurants that I love, and other things like that. I'll go to those accounts and I'll look either at who's following them, but a really great place to go is to look at their most recent posts and see who's commenting on them, because those people are using social media. And I look for people who specifically are already posting, already editing their photos, already use stories, and I go and engage with them. They don't have a private account. I'm not going to try to like break down that wall with someone, because if their account is a public, they obviously don't want to share with anyone. So I'm not going to be that creep sending them a message like, "Hey girl," you know, like they know you can't see them, so it's a little weird. So I just I look for people specifically who maybe are already a trainer, or like people following trainers and are posting fitness stuff, or just like somebody who I think I would actually want to hang out with in real life. And so that's what I do. And I specifically look for people that I would hang out with. and I go and like and comment on their posts. I watch their stories and I reply. So what's really cool about that is like you're already sliding into their DMs and like complimenting them and interacting with their content and not being a creep. And it's just really real. You're building that relationship. They'll be like, oh, who's this person? They come to your page and they see what you're about. And that's like where you want to make sure you're posting on your stories every day. You're also like being consistent with your content and you're sharing and you're showing who you are. So when people come to your page, they feel like they can actually get to know you and they don't have to try to break down a wall either. So treat your social like real life. So who was it? I think it was Danae who did a national wake up call like a couple months ago. She was talking about how weird it would be if you were in a grocery store and you tap someone on the shoulder and you're like, hey, I really like your sweater. Have you ever considered joining my team? Like, how weird would that be? You know what I mean? So like, I don't ever just invite somebody. I want to build some sort of connective tissue with that person first. So, I mean, that's like one of the ways I treat social media like real life is like, if you're actually having this conversation with someone in person, how would it go? You don't have to, I think, yes, you definitely need a system so you know how to apply and where to go and that you have a goal. So you're not wasting your time and you're not just, dicking around on Instagram, like not doing anything. Like you need to have a plan and you need to be very strategic and serious about that. But you can have a plan and be professional while also like being a real person and talking to people and having a real conversation. So yeah, that's what I recommend about that. Like think about when you're going to message someone or talk to someone, like think about it as if you're standing next to this stranger in the grocery store and how that conversation would go. Because these are real people that hopefully will actually be in your real life, because we have this crazy ass job that like we meet these strangers on the internet and like become real friends and end up traveling the world together. It's insane. So, and working side by side, building businesses. So just remember, like they are real people and you want to make a good impression. Be professional with how you're talking to people and getting like leads. You want to collect emails. You want to have people fill out applications. I think it's really important because that helps weed out the people who aren't serious. Also, if you're not collecting emails and you're just building your business on Instagram or Facebook, if that goes away, do you guys remember? I don't know if you've been around long enough when like Instagram had multiple shutdowns, like last year or the year before, where everyone was like freaking out, like, oh my God, social media is gone. Like, what do we do? I was sending out newsletters on that day because I collect emails. And I've been collecting emails since 2013. Since the beginning, it's something I've always done. So like, that's definitely where you want to go. If social media disappears, you still have a list. If social media disappears, more people will probably be in their emails anyway, because what else are they going to do? So yeah, and I think it will help people. It'll help you position yourself better, and feel more like a business person, because what business is going to only talk to you through Instagram DMs, like nobody. They're going to get you on email, so just think about that. And that's it. That's what I got for you guys. So I hope that this was helpful, and if you have any questions, totally feel free. I'm here.
So amazing. Yeah, if anyone has questions, you can like unmute yourself or you can send it in the chat and we'll read it. I don't think, maybe there was one up before that I read. Jessica said, for the weekly transformation pick, do you use an older before pick always, or how you've changed over a week or a month or a year?
So I have like a few. I mean, luckily, kind of unluckily, I had a 20-pound weight gain in 2018. So I have like new, and this was like when I actually did take photos, so I have new photos to use. But before Beachbody, I hid from the camera like the plague. I deleted every freaking thing that anybody ever took of me. Like, even if I felt like I didn't look, you know, unappealing or whatever, I just was like, I don't like the way I look. I'm deleting this. So I had, I want to say like 3 or 4 photos that I used over and over again. If I was specifically talking about a program and showing my progress from a program, I would do a 4 photo from that. But now every single transformation post I do is from my weight gain that I had. And so I started working on it last February. So I'm like at the year mark. And so I'm like, 1 year ago, this is what it was like. And I always shared that. So, and I have like quite a few different ones that I use. And I just like find different ways to share it. I don't always share the same one. So yeah. Some coaches, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think she also asked above that, do you ever get blocked for sending too many messages?
Yeah, so I move kind of slow. So my process is I have like I use the business activity tracker, but on the connect part, like the part that a lot of people skip over, the connect and my follow-up area, that's like everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm crushing it. And then they get to that part and they're like, ooh, like I don't know what to do. So I created something that would make it more fun. And so like this is my process to do those activities is I go to people who like my post, comment on my post, watch my stories, follow me. And those 4 categories I go through and I set a timer. So I set a timer for like 15 minutes on people who like my post, 15 minutes on comments, 15 minutes on story watchers or whatever. And then I go through and send messages to those people, or because I don't message everyone, because a lot of people are coaches or people I've already talked to. So if it's a new message, I send that. If it's somebody I've already talked to before, I'll go and engage, but everybody I engage. So I kind of move a little slower. I'm not like copy paste, like super fast. I'm going through and I'm like liking and commenting, watching their stories and interacting with them before I send them a message. So I haven't lately since I've implemented that process.
And then Brienne had a comment. Some coaches try to go for comment engagement. Do you track that or shoot for likes?
So the only thing I track, because like watching my every move is stressful for me. So I will go through and engage with people as much as I can in that 15-minute mark. And then I only track them if they write me back and show some sort of interest. So I don't have to like stress about and also keep track of all the people who ignored me. Like I wouldn't feel good about that. So I'm just gonna be like, if they pop up on my likes, comments, story watchers list again, I'm going to engage with them again. But I don't like just going through that process, you're gonna get a lot of the same people. And that way it's almost like a follow-up list because you can go back and engage with them, So I only track people who write me back and like have some sort of interest. I'll flag them, and I have the creator account on my Instagram. I have like the creator profile or whatever, and it gives you 2 inboxes. And so I put them in my other inbox that's like priority. But I also flag them just in case that box disappears.
I have 2 inboxes, but I'm pretty sure I'm a business account. Is that like?
Oh, okay. Well, cool.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a creator account. I don't know. I haven't even looked at that.
It's possible it's on the business too. It just has been a while since I've had one.
But for a while, I didn't know that I had 2. So like the other day, I literally looked in there and it's like general and primary or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I have like all these messages from like 75 weeks ago.
Oh my God.
It was so stressful. But, And then Jessica said, can you tell me how to introduce the next program you're going to do with your audience while you're working through a program?
So let's see.
That's
I
such
usually
a good
just
question.
say like, here's my plan, but I won't start like promoting it until, I mean, I'll like drop it a little bit here and there. Like, here's my plan. This is what I'm doing. Like, I have, like, how cool is it that I have my fitness schedule planned out up until this date? You know, I'll talk about it like that. And I'll talk about it more in my challenge group and with existing customers, because we can't forget that our existing customers are also people who are bringing in and generating income, and like people that we can help and sign up with challenge packs again. So don't forget about those guys, you know, like they're still on their journey, but I kind of just like give a little peek at what I'm like coming up with, but then I won't really start talking about it until like now. Like with 10 rounds, I'm talking about it now. Like I did my first post about it yesterday. We're doing a really cool like 21-day like launch academy to help new coaches go through a new program launch. So it's almost like a new coach training along with like a test group at the same time, and to help coaches like launch a new program. So that's what I'm talking about, and I'm completely talking about business and like also fitness at the same time. So I think it's really important to talk about the coaching opportunity, because the more you talk about it, the more you're going to recruit coaches.
That is so smart. Like combining both of them.
Yeah.
I feel like if I would have had that, like I didn't even know coaching was a thing in my first program. And then she told me afterwards, and I was like, oh, that sounds like kind of cool, but I don't know if I'd be good at it. And so like that would bring so much more confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would just like, Jessica, are you still doing bar, or like what's your specific thing? Or
Sorry, I'm just gonna unmute.
okay.
I'm right now I'm doing the 21-day fix because
Okay.
I did the MM100 was my first program, and I felt like it was a really long commitment for people who haven't done this before. And as a new person to the platform, I feel like it's an essential program that I needed to know how to do.
Mhm.
I know 10 rounds is coming out, and I'm super pumped about that. So I was like, okay, I'll do the 21-day. And then I also just before this did the 3-week yoga retreat. So I got a lot of interest from that because people were seeing me do the MM100 workouts every day, and they're like, that looks really intense. I don't think I can do that. So I switched to the yoga to show like there's so much diversity on the platform.
Okay. How far are you into 21-day fix?
I'm on week 2 now. So day
Okay. So
maybe.
all right, I'm looking at my calendar. So yeah, you'll be done, like you'll be finishing the first after the launch, right? Like
Yeah.
the launch for coaches. So I would definitely talk about it, and then what you can do is just like start promoting it. I mean, why not, you know? Be like, this is what I'm doing now, but I'm really excited for this coming up. And you can talk about how there's like a coach exclusive window. Like using this coach exclusive window is such a great opportunity to upgrade customers to coaches, and then also bring on new coaches, either just for the discount or people who actually want to build a business. So it just depends. I always give people that option. Like if they want to do this program with me, they have like 2 weeks. Is that right? Yeah, like 2 weeks of the coach launch window to, you know, if they want to get started before anyone else ever in life, you know. So I would do like take pictures, like sampling the workout. You can take stills, you can take videos, and like piece it out. You can even just do it once, record it, and like only take clips, you know, and use them on different days if you don't want to do it more than once. So you could do it like a couple times a week, or even just like do some moves from it and like record it and talk about it. That's what I would do.
And then just one quick question. You mentioned like it's a good opportunity to upgrade people. So I have already started talking about it in my challenge group. When you upgrade people to a coach, um, do they have to buy an entire challenge pack, or is it just like a coaching fee?
So when they're upgrading, they would upgrade with the 10 rounds pack. So they could get a challenge pack if they need more supplements. You know, you'd have to like see where they're at with their supplements and stuff like that. Because if they do get a challenge pack, they don't have, well, they never have to pay the $40 anyway. So they can upgrade to a coach, get even just like the digital unlock or like whatever, depending on what their needs are. So you always want to like reconnect with them and see what they have, what they need. So you can get them the best deal on those things. So they don't have to pay more later on, you know? So just make sure that you're really clear about that getting it in a pack is going to be cheaper for them. But they'll pay the $40 up front to enroll as a coach, but then they fill out there's like a refund form, because if anyone's ever gotten a challenge pack, they get to enroll as a coach for free. Just like when you buy a challenge pack and a coach at the same time, you get it for free. So they give them that refund.
It's also a really good chance to set or like to share the VIP kind of like discount membership too with people, since the program is first being released to coaches. Like that's what I always push is like, you know, become a part of the VIP tribe, discount member, whatever. And then the other thing, because I'm still doing bar and I have like 3 weeks left, or no, 2 weeks left after this week. And I'm like kind of getting to that spot where I'm like done with it. So I'm going to like continue promoting bar like with my workouts and my stories, but like that's on sale for the whole rest of the month. So if people want to do that, awesome. But if not, like I'm also going to be sharing about 10 rounds and say like, look at our awesome gym. Like we have this option to do like a dance program, or like you want to get some anger out, like an MMA program. So like you can share, like, look at all this option, you know, like, and you've done yoga and you've done MM100, like you've done so much. So that's just awesome. And adding more to like your little album of like what you can share for people and what you've experienced. And then also the other thing I was going to say is like on rest days, I know she kind of touched on this, but like you can totally do the sample workout, or you know, and then take a chance to promote it on just that rest day, and then you go back to your normal program. Or like for me, bar has 2 rest days, so that's what I was going to plan on doing. And lately they've been releasing the first like 10 workouts, like I think they did that with bar and MM100, so that might also happen. And then it's like, okay, I can try these little samples and kind of like make videos and just create more areas to share with people and kind of like promote it. So yeah, so many opportunities with that. So
yeah, it's gonna be great. So I actually have to get going because I have my team call at 8. But I hope that you guys found this helpful, and feel free to let me know like if any of these things change the game for you and you find yourself having more fun or anything. Like I love to hear feedback, so always be down to shoot me a message and let me know how it's going. But yeah, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys have a good day.
Yay, thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.